There's one issue on the planning commission, 9A.
And at the request of the applicant, Keith? Correct. At the request of the applicant, this plan has been requested to be tabled. So I'll make that motion that we table.
Second.
Regular motion has been seconded to table 9A. Anything on the question? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Now we're going into the meat of the agenda. Is there anybody here in the audience that wants to talk about anything that we're about to take action on, so that we can hear what you have to say before people start to vote on this stuff? Seeing none. The first item is our consent agenda. This is stuff that if the manager does not think is controversial in nature, doesn't require any discussion. If there's anything on this list of items that somebody on the board or somebody from the audience would like to have a discussion on, now's the time to talk about that. Anybody? You have anything? Anybody? Okay, then I'll accept the motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Anyone on the question? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Zoning Hearing Board, January 15th, has no business of no meeting, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Monthly report from Police Chief Junkin.
Good evening, everybody. I'm going to be reporting on the month of November. So for that month, we had 1,662 calls for service. That's still representing a 30% increase for the year. I looked at December's number today. So for year end, for 2019, we will be up 27% over 2018 as far as our calls for service. So that's a pretty significant increase. If we were a business and we were seeing a 30% increase in business, we'd be rolling in the cash. So, but with that increase, though, we've also seen some other good stuff. So total crashes, statistically 0% change from 2018. That's great. Fatal crashes, complete. We had none. DUI crashes are up 12%, but that's really a difference of 3 between 26 and 29. You'll see other things in there. Total injuries down 12%, and I think that is directly related to the work that the police officers are doing. They're active, they're proactive in looking for problems, and you can see that in our DUI arrests are up 20% for the year. That's over last year's increase, and you'll see traffic citations and warnings were very robust in that. I know that everybody thinks there's a lot of speeding on every road they live on, but we're up 56% in traffic citations and 78% in warnings. So police officers are doing a great job. And then on the crime side, offenses reported are down 7% and criminal arrests are up 8%. So I think the police officer being effective and efficient and trying to make the most of our resources. And I hope that continues. I did want to touch on two things. One of the concerns that has been voiced over this last year is some of the speeding concerns on Wurtsville Road. I want to give updates on two issues with that. We've been doing some impromptu enforcement on there. Each of the sergeants are charged with having their platoons go out and do some. So recently, I'll just give an example. This last weekend, Sergeant Gingrich and his guys, and yeah, it's all guys, went out. On one day, they only managed one traffic stop because it was weather. But on Saturday, they were out there for 3 hours. They had 6 traffic stops, 6 speeding citations, 1 driving under suspension, 2 miscellaneous warnings, and the maximum speed was 64 miles an hour. Other sergeants have been doing similar activities. So if you travel to Wurtsville Road, I would suggest you try and do so with the speed limit. But to aid you in that thing, and consistent with a purchase that was authorized last year by the board, we did take receipt of new radar speed signs. It's the kind that shows what the speed is, which the speed limit is, and then it will say your speed is whatever. Hopefully it's well within the speed limit. We will be posting them along the Wurtsville Road with help from Public Works, who put sleeves in, and we'll be installing the signs. These are portable signs, so we'll be able to move them. But with that, in conjunction with those placements, is also enforcement. So you really aren't going to have an excuse to ignore the signs, because you're going to have something telling you exactly what you were doing. And if you want to ignore it, a police officer will then certify exactly what you were doing and give it to you. The price of that is $140, $150. So we continue those efforts, and I just want to say that the police officers, our officers out there are really trying very hard to make it a very safe community. If you look at our stats, you see our stats for Hampden Township, we are very low. Part one, your very serious ones, number one, very low. And everywhere else, we are a great example of a community that is very safe and cooperative. We receive a lot of information from our residents, a lot of input from our residents, and we try and act on that input to address our concerns, but also use that intelligence to make us more effective in our jobs.
Chief, in terms of the fine that you cited, how much of that comes back to Hampton Township?
So on a typical fine, you run a stop sign, we get $17. If it's speeding, it's probably be $21. It is really almost physically impossible for us to, the thing is, police are out there writing to, fill the coffers. The cost of salary and benefits and vehicle costs, it's nearly impossible to write your way to prosperity with it. Virtually impossible.
Thank you for that.
Not only
point.
that, if an officer has to, if it's challenged, and the officer has to go to court, you've lost like 4 or 5 accumulations of fines of these.
It's not nearly impossible, it is impossible. The revenue from fines, quite truthfully, doesn't cover the operating, and Chief knows this, and the board does too, costs for one officer and the equipment associated with that individual out of a department of 20 patrol officers.
And truly about public safety in terms of making sure that these streets are covered and safe.
Now, I can tell you that one of the calls that we as commissioners get more often than anything else is there's too much speeding in my neighborhood. And we get those from all over the township. And it really is, I'll tell you, I saw a kid get hit once, personally saw a kid get hit once right in front of me. And it's really tough. The car hit that kid and the kid went flying through the air. Oh, anyhow, it isn't worth it, tell me, it is not worth it. Watch your speed, particularly in our neighborhoods. It's just, you hit somebody, you live with it the rest of your life. All right, I made a mistake, that's 3.
I'll own that
No,
mistake.
that's all right. I'd like to make a motion to appoint Carolyn Pfeiffer as our library delegate to the Frederickson Library.
I will second the motion.
Yeah, we should third it and fourth it and fifth it. What a wonderful job Carolyn does for the township. And she comes to our meetings. It's really, it's always a pleasure. And I'm sorry I missed that because I wanted to make that motion because Carolyn's always been extremely friendly. Anyhow, regular motion has been seconded. We're on the question. The motion passed.
Carolyn, it's suspect whether or not I'll pass my probationary period as executive secretary in the absence of her, so.
Thank you very much, Carolyn. Okay, moving ahead, Director of Public Works.
So, on the lines of safety, I'd ask for authorization to advertise for bid specifications for traffic signal improvements along the Worsville Road corridor.
Regularly moved and seconded. Now, this particular motion ties into a grant that Hampton Township got from, who did we get that from?
Well, that's an Arlene grant, I believe that's.
What? PennDOT gave us the money. And this directly ties to some very nice folks who live back in that corridor who have been asking for more safety conditions. And there was a study done by PennDOT.
Correct.
And the PennDOT, because of public interest back there, and a meeting that was put together, and some safety issues were brought up, and so PennDOT reacted. They did a study. The study came up with some recommendations. After Township went back to PennDOT, we applied for the grant. We're one of like a handful of municipalities in the whole state of Pennsylvania that were awarded money in this grant program. So congrats to the staff, and congrats to the people that are particularly on the northern part of the township for supporting this effort. So all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries.
I'd ask for authorization to advertise bid specifications for improvements to Cerruti Park. These improvements generally include walking paths and paving, and the evaluation of a pavilion and possible restroom facilities.
Second.
Yes, moved and seconded, we're on the question, and I'm pretty sure when he said the possibility of event and the construction.
Yeah, correct.
Restroom. The idea is that rather than it would be gender neutral restroom, so because it's a small park, and I would think that we just have a restroom.
That's what we value.
restroom and not a huge pavilion, but a pavilion that would be okay for family picnics and things like that. Because again, it's a small park. If you know where it is, it's right off Good Hope Road, going north on the left side of the road, and it's about 6 acres.
A little more than 3.
So you're including the water in there as well.
The water, I've got the water. So anyhow, but it's not a real big park, but there's a whole bunch of trees planted, and it'll be a very nice place. Dogs are allowed in that park. Anything else?
This too would be funded by grant funding from the county partially.
Partially funded by a county grant and also partially funded by the Cerruti family, who donated $5,000 to the township to get us started. Plus, they donated the ground to Hampden Township. So it's a very, very nice gift from the Cerruti family. Anything else on the motion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
I'd ask for approval of pay estimate number 3 in the amount of $252,273.97 to Mr. Rehab for the 2019 sanitary sewer rehabilitation project. That is subject to passing the VERA test. All work has been completed. There is some testing that remains to be completed to confirm that everything was installed accurately and correctly. So
Regular motion has been seconded. Is this the pumping station that's having a problem?
no, sir, this is a sanitary sewer lining project that was done. I do believe there are some lines that are being completed within that service area, but
That's what I meant.
not entirely.
But it's part of that problem?
Correct, it is.
And any developer who works in that is gonna have to pay a little bit extra?
That is correct.
That's correct.
So you're referring to pump station 5, which recently received flows rate.
That's the one. Okay, anything else? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
I'd ask for authorization to purchase materials to replace the decking at the Armitage Golf Course at the cost not to exceed $35,000.
Move the second, any other question? You have anything on that?
I spoke to some of the staff there at the county shop, and they were very pleased that this would be coming up here
I
soon.
imagine they are. And you're pleased?
We'll be very pleased here.
Very good.
I'd like to add real quickly that the cost, if we use a contractor, would be in the order of magnitude of $75,000 to $90,000. So staff is going to save the township and Armitage Golf Course quite a bit of money there.
Very good, yes. And we have talented people in our staff
Very
to do that
skilled
kind of work, which is also a very nice thing. Thank you. Anything else on the question? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
The rest of my report is in your packet. If you have any questions, please let me know.
Thank you very much. Township manager.
Good evening, Commissioners. I ask that you approve conditional appointment of the recommended applicant to the position of Public Works Department Fleet Division Superintendent to serve a 1-year probationary period effective as soon as practicable.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Anything on the question? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
As you are aware,
Opposed, motion carries.
my apologies.
That's all right, you're in a hurry.
As you're aware, we have a current vacancy at the Golf Pro Shop. Staff at that facility are compensated by the revenue generated by the golf course and not through taxpayer dollars. The staff has conducted an interview of a single applicant that they recommend to you for your consideration this evening to appoint effective as soon as practicable to serve a 6-month probationary period.
So moved.
Regular motion has been seconded you actually, for the person that is on that.
Yes, the recommended applicant.
Correct, okay. Any other things on the question? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
In your meeting packet, Commissioners, is a draft job description for a proposed new position for an Assistant Fire Administration Officer. As you know, the volunteer fire company is manned and staffed by volunteers, 100% volunteers. But in the past, the Board of Commissioners had authorized hiring of a fire administration officer to take care of some administrative tasks and be the liaison between the township and the fire company. The responsibilities of the fire company have grown to the point where they're requesting your consideration to advertise for applications for this position. And if you're agreeable, I'd ask for your authorization to do so.
I'll make that motion to proceed with advertising the position and simply state that, having the 2 stations, it will be very helpful to have those both staffed.
Yeah, regular motion has been seconded. Is there anything on the question? All in in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed, motion carries.
One other personnel matter that didn't make it onto the agenda, I apologize. Chief has made a recommendation to myself, and I support his recommendation, that your current police civilian support staff be offered a promotion to the position of civilian support staff 2, effective immediately, to serve a 6-month probationary period.
So second.
Moved and seconded, we're on the question. Actually, this isn't a new employee, this is just a change in the job description
Correct.
and more responsibility to an existing person, and recognizing that the person will have more responsibility. Is that?
Yes, sir.
That's what I read.
Correct.
Anything else on the question? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
A number of years ago, in accordance with state regulations, the Board of Commissioners saw fit to offer to the active duty volunteer firefighters an earned income tax credit. The maximum amount of that earned income tax credit is $250, depending upon the amount of wages that the individual earns during the tax year. The chief of the fire company has certified the list of individuals who have met the requirements of active duty status with the fire company and who are eligible for this EIT credit.
Gladly make that motion.
Moved and seconded on the fire tax credit. Questions on the motion? Anything, sir?
If there's anybody else out in the audience that would like to join our Hampden Township Volunteer Fire Company, we'd love having it. We have a couple nice incentives such as the one we're voting on right now.
I have to say that we're trying so hard to continue the volunteer fire company. The demographics in Hampden Township are a little tough.
Not just in Hampton Township, across the
Across,
Commonwealth, across the
in
nation.
country. It's a national problem. But if you know of anybody or anybody here is interested, there's a lot of camaraderie within the fire company membership, and they're doing a lot of good work. They really do. They save property and lives. And so if anybody is interested in that type of application, our guys will help with the training. The township does not make them do fundraising. We financially support their efforts. We own the fire trucks, we own the firehouses, we pay for the operation, we pay for the equipment. They do a little fundraising, but that's for odds and ends. The major part of their budget is covered by Hampden Township. So we need firefighters, people that go out and put fires out when properties are burning down. And so if anybody knows of somebody or has personal interest, it would be a wonderful thing. Anything else?
Thank you.
Okay.
We go to that.
No. Okay, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
In your meeting packet, Commissioners, is a memo that I've prepared for your review. Few action items that I would ask for your consideration this evening is approval of pay application number 7 to ECI Construction in the amount of $221,638.26 in accordance with the approved bid contract.
So moved.
Moved and second to pay the bill. Questions? All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed, motion carries.
Also request your approval of pay application number 3 for Midstate Mechanical in the amount of $20,936.95. And again, with Midstate Mechanical, pay application number 4 in the amount of $7,604.40, again in accordance with the contract terms.
So moved.
Moved and seconded. Anything on the question? All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed, motion carries.
I request your approval of pay application number 4 for Stauffer Mechanical in the amount of $15,066, and pay application number 5 for Stauffer Mechanical in the amount of $20,648.25, again in accordance with the contract terms.
Second.
Moved and seconded. We're on the question. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
A few change orders for your consideration. Ask for approval of change order number 9 to ECI Construction in the add amount of $1,917 to add a powered mic to the police civilian support staff counter.
Second.
Moved and seconded. They had a microphone, right?
Yes, sir.
Questions on the motion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
We spoke previously about some of the sinkhole issues that we were experiencing in what was originally envisioned to be the rain garden adjacent to the building. In order to eliminate future concerns about that, there was a temporary bypass of the stormwater through that facility in the amount added for ECI construction of $2,296. I'd ask for your approval of that.
So moved.
Moved and seconded, we're on the question. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed, motion carries.
One final change order for your consideration, number 11 for ECI construction in the add amount of $880 for soundproof doors at various locations throughout the building.
So moved.
We're moved and seconded on soundproof doors. Is that your move?
One, just in case you need to have a conversation with me about my failure to have Carolyn listed on the agenda.
People know me too well. Yes, okay, anything else on the question? All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed, motion carries.
Just generally, I'll make a note that even with those change orders, the total project costs are still below what was actually initially awarded, so things are going well in that respect. One item to note, as a result of the progress meeting this morning, relative to the project schedule which is being evaluated, is the contractor from ECI was indicating a challenge with getting the roof installed because of the amount of construction that's occurring throughout the west and east shore areas and contractors being so busy. I was told late this afternoon that they anticipate mobilizing and being on the site this Wednesday, but it's possible that once they're done updating the schedule and depending upon what the weather does for us, that there could be up to a 30-day delay with some of the work, but I'm not concerned about it at this time so much. I did notify ECI that if there's any cost associated with the delay, that it would be their responsibility and not the township's.
Thank you.
So that was just more, yes, sorry, thank you. In your meeting packet is a proposal from Cohen Law Group. They're a specialist firm that assists municipalities with writing and updating ordinances relating to wireless communication facilities. The township has utilized Cohen Law Group before through a cooperative arrangement with discounted pricing through the Capital Region COG, and I would recommend that you consider approval of that service proposal to update our ordinances in order to be compliant with new FCC regulations, as well as addressing small wireless cell tower facilities at a cost not to exceed $6,500.
Moved and seconded, we're on the question. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed, motion carries.
Finally, Commissioners, forgive me, but late this afternoon, a request came in to the township asking for your consideration. This group, a nonprofit entity, has made a presentation to the board before in a public meeting. They refer to themselves as Friends of the Conneaut Greenway, and what they're looking to do, if you recall, is pursue a master study for connectivity of walking and biking trails throughout the West Shore area. And they would like to pursue an application of a grant to DCNR, Department of Conservation and Natural Resources, for financial assistance with the master study. However, they, as a 501c3, cannot submit the application.
They're not a 501c3.
My
so they
apologies,
can't apply
but
for it.
correct, thank you for correcting me. So they're asking for Hampden to consider supporting their efforts to submit on their behalf. They're willing to write the grant and the details and come up with a cost estimate, and then we would just simply submit on their behalf.
I'll accept the motion to do that.
If I may, though, in doing so, of course, that may eliminate the opportunity of pursuing a grant through DCNR solely for Hampden Township. So you're supporting the efforts of the West Shore area on this matter, which is certainly a worthwhile exercise. But for example, if you wanted to pursue a grant